Okay, hello, everybody. Welcome to our Vibrantly You community. This is Crystal Atkinson here, your Vibrantly You wellness coach, mentor, and friend. I am so excited for this next little bit of time that we are going to spend together. This is a sneak peek into the Life by Design series. So this is part of session 1, creating a vision, choosing to dream, and we're going to do a little bit of work just thinking about our mindset. So if you are new here, pop in where you are tuning in from. I would love to know where you are, where your struggles are with creating a vision, dreaming, and mindset. And while we're just getting started, you need to make sure you have got something to write with and a journal, or you need a separate device. So grab out that laptop if you're on your phone so that you can open up a document and get typing. You are also going to want to watch this in detail and do whatever replays you need in the next 48 hours because this link is disappearing. This is actually a part of the students who are enrolled in the Life by Design course. So you are getting a very special treat here by getting a little bit of insight into the Life by Design course. It is your life. It is your life, my friend. Today is the day to accept responsibility for your life. Recognizing those voices, the fears, the barriers that you face is so important because it's through that that we're able to thank them, bless them, and release them. You don't want to walk the path of someone else. Do you remember back when you graduated and maybe an adult in your life, a teacher, or maybe it was a parent who said, "Hey, I really think you should go into this line of work," or "I really think you should do this. When I was your age, I wish that I would have got a trade. Thanks for the advice, Dad, but I'm good." We have the power within ourselves to say, "I am going to win or fail all on my own because I know who I am and I know who I want to be." It all starts with deciding. Oh, that's a tricky one though. When you really think about the opportunity you have to decide the type of life you want to live, it's both exciting and scary. It's both exciting and scary. Some of you already have a dream. You have a purpose. You maybe just haven't been brave enough to go all in. Or perhaps you've got this dream and you're like, "Crystal, I don't know. Like, I always said I wanted to be a writer, but then I actually do this, or I actually do that, or I wanted to go back to school to be a nurse, but then this happened, or I don't actually like this." Perhaps it's time you sit down and give your dream an audit. You need to put your dream to the test and really think about, is this your dream or is it somebody else's dream? Some of you on here aren't sure what your dream is, where you want to go in life. But why is that? When did you stop dreaming? And why did you stop? Let's dive into the work of unpacking what you love most about yourself and what forms your identity. Be brave enough to dream. Be brave enough to dream a new dream. My current coach turns 70 years old tomorrow. And let me tell you, I sat with her for the very first time. I think we talked for 2 hours straight. We just couldn't get enough out. This is a woman who has written books after retirement, helped other people write books. She has got businesses and assistants and the whole world ahead of her. And she's turning 70. So what's your excuse? Because usually there's not a reason. Usually there's not something real holding you back. It's a story you've told yourself. It is a truth that doesn't exist that you are living out. So let's dive into this. You are the whole book, my friend. Every word, every sentence, every chapter. You are all of it. Be empowered and embrace all that you are. She laughed, she cried, she conquered. She is you. Embrace your story. The time of the recording, this is the beginning of the year. Do you have a vision board? Have you gone through that process of really reliving those moments in life that have brought you to the here and now? If you haven't done that, when we're done this, you're going to hop off, go over to my YouTube account, click on the most recent Creating a Vision Board this year's, and go through that process. Really think about who you are. You are who you say you are. You are who you say you are. Every word of it. Nothing more, nothing less. No one has authority over you. So it's important that you own your power. You are who you are when nobody is watching. Okay, so if you are that kind servant's heart person, if you have joy by helping others, if you have joy by organizing or solving problems or teaching or healing or blessing, those are your superpowers. You need to know yourself to grow yourself. John Maxwell says that in much of his work. The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth was one of my more recent masterminds. And we talked a lot about digging into really getting to know yourself. So how well do you know yourself? Do you know what makes you tick? As we think about growth, got to do a bit of pre-work first. You can't just dive into a goal and then expect it to take off. If you want to win the year, you need to win today. And the only way you're going to win today is if you really focus on what it is you want and working towards it, choosing it every single time. When it gets tough, when it gets easy, we're going to choose it. So we're going to practice the law of the mirror, as John Maxwell calls it, and we're going to look into our own hearts and our own desires. You know, when I first entered into adulthood, I was told in high school, you can't go to university. Do you know how expensive that is? We know your family. You can't go. It's too expensive. Then I got myself into college, and then I was told, you're not going to get into your next program you want. Do you know how competitive it is? Do you know what GPA you need? Had no idea. I just knew I had a vision. I knew I had a calling of where I needed to go. And then once I got into that education faculty, I was told, you aren't going to get a job. Do you know how hard it is to get a job? I was working within 2 weeks of graduating, and I've worked full-time ever since. Then I went in to do my master's, and I focused on leadership and school improvement or systems improvement. And the first time I was hired into admin, I went into the local bank to sign the paycheck. And the teller, middle-aged woman, looked at me and said, "Oh, well, what are you doing at that school?" And I said, "Oh, I've been hired as the assistant principal." And immediately she said, "Well, I don't know why they hired you." And I was like, "Pardon me?" Well, the other administrator is a woman. I can't imagine them having two women in the same building. And then she went on and she said, "What about your family? What about your friends? Or what about your husband?" My friend, people will always have their opinions. They will always have their opinions. They are going to criticize you, whether you chase your dreams, whether you do them, and they're going to criticize you if you sit at home and do nothing. So you might as well go after your dreams. You might as well live them to the fullest because you have a calling. You would not be on this video right now if you didn't have a calling, if you didn't care. So own that, embrace that, chase it down with everything in you. If you're going to move towards goals, we need to focus on growth. Growth are those skills that are preparing us for the opportunity long before that opportunity comes up. So when you think about that, if you've ever been in the situation where you've been able to hire somebody or you've listened to what other people are looking for, often the actual skill set in that job is listed several lines down. The first several lines are generally areas that you can grow. So they're going to be areas like communication skills. They're going to be areas like organization, conflict resolution, interpersonal skills. So all of these really are transferable regardless of what industry you happen to be working in. Those are your growth goals. Choosing to dream. Have you dreamt a dream? Do you have a current dream? A dream is an inspiring picture of the future that energizes your mind. So when you think about it, you get excited. You're like, if I could do this, man, that'd be everything. It energizes your mind, your will, your emotions. It empowers you to do everything you can to achieve it. If you don't feel something super strong, it's not a dream worth having, right? It's a wish, it's a thought, it's a, that'd be nice. That's not a dream. That is not what we are talking about. I am talking about something that's going to move you to action, something that excites you. So I'm going to give you a list of journaling questions. So you may want to write down the time of this video so that you can come back into it. Or if you're watching the replay, go hashtag replay, pause it after each question, journal out the ones that apply to you, skip the ones that don't. Okay. So when we think about that dream, when we think about what is it that we even like, let's just think about who we are as a human being and what we have to offer. Start by jotting down everything that you love doing. And don't limit yourself to any one area of life. So if you love being with people, that doesn't necessarily need to be work. It doesn't need to be family. It doesn't need to be friends. It could just be something that generally across all areas of life, I really like to be with people. So don't limit yourself to your thoughts in any of these questions, but just right from the heart. First, what do I love doing? What do I love doing? Again, pause me if you're watching the replay or come back if you're live. Where do I want to go in life? Consider your journey, not just a destination. I want to be somewhere where I am having an impact on people. I want to be somewhere where I'm using my body every day. I want to be somewhere where I am at peace and it's quiet and maybe I'm by myself. I've never wondered why we try making an extrovert out of everybody. Introverts are just as important as extroverts. So you consider, where do you want to go in life? Next question. What direction do you want to head? Are you on the path you want to be on, or do you know? Do you know there's something different for you? That you are not where you should be? What's the farthest you can imagine going? Consider something big. Now dream a little bit bigger. Dream without limits. God, the universe, whatever you believe in, has no limits. There are no limits beyond what we place on ourselves. So do you trust that there is more for you? If so, take God out of whatever box it is you've put him in and trust bigger than what you're thinking. You are worthy. You are loved. The only limit that you have is that ceiling of belief that you place on yourself. If you believe you can only go so high, you will always only go that high. There are many analogies out there. Some people talk about a ceiling, saying that that's where we get comfortable, and we might quickly get up there. But then as soon as we hit that ceiling, we're like, ooh, That's a little bit uncomfortable. I'm just going to go back here where it's nice and cozy. Some people talk about it as a thermostat. So whatever temperature you like your room at, it's like, oh, I can get things going really hot, really spicy, but then I better break it down a notch. Okay, so I want you to just get rid of all of those limitations you have on yourself. And then ask yourself, how long is it going to take? How long is it going to take to get there? And then I'm going to challenge you. If you've been working on a dream for a while and you're like, you know what, Crystal, I've tried this. I've been doing this for 6 months now. I've been doing this for 2 years. Are you caught up in thinking that it's too late for you or it's taking too long? Now, there's a difference between giving up on something that is not your calling and realizing where your skill set is. Okay, that is a very real thing. And that's part of giving your dream an audit. That's part of really looking at it and deciding, yes, this is for me, or no, it isn't. That is entirely different than giving up on your dream after a short period of time without actually putting in the work. Okay, most professions require 4 to 7 years to be able to enter them. So if you think about nursing, a registered nurse or a teacher or an accountant, you're looking at 4 years of studying and practicums and shadowing people and trying and failing and going home crying and wondering, am I ever going to make a go of this? It takes years to get there. And the more specialized that skill set is, the more people are going to want you and have that demand over your skill set. It's going to take longer. It's going to take longer. So when you ask yourself, how long will this take? Go back and really audit. Is it long enough? If you start a business, if you sell something, if you have anything like that, and you're putting limits because you're thinking, gosh, like I've had this business for a year or two. I should for sure be a millionaire by now. Well, go look. Go look at a millionaire in your industry. Go look at them. Ask them, how long did it take? And also ask them, what did you do during that time? Because every now and then you do get that person with that special something, that special zest for life, and they're able to get to their top really, really quickly. But most people build over time. So when I think about my dream, how long is it going to take? And am I giving myself enough time? Am I being fair? Am I being kind to myself when I'm thinking, oh, I'm not there yet, and this other person is? And we're going to talk about that mindset towards the end. You know the best time to plant a tree? Yesterday. Do you know the next best time? It's today. It is today. It's time to get started. So I need to know what matters most in my life so that I can go back and audit my calendar. You need to know your priorities. You need to know what comes first. If you say, let's say you've got this dream, but you're like, Crystal, I have this big dream, but my marriage and kids, they come first. My dream needs to come next. Okay, wonderful. You know what your priority is. Now pull out your calendar and put them in first. Give them the prime time that works for them as well as for you. Because here's the flip side. If you don't have 20 minutes, a half an hour to work on your dream every single day, it's not that important to you. You really have to look at what you're doing with that 24 hours if you can't get yourself a little bit of time towards your goals. And often those other things that are big priorities for us, your husband, your children, whatever, their prime time is not at 5 or 6 in the morning. Okay. But for a lot of people, our prime time is when the people in our lives are not near us. It's when we first wake up, or it's that last hour before we go to bed as women. Often, right? Often you bookmark your day and that's your prime time. So I'm going to ask you, What are your priorities? Put them in first. Just put them in. Then you got them off. You're like, yep, they're in. I've got my date night with my husband every month, or maybe it's once a week. My husband and I go out Thursday nights. That's our date night. Okay, every week. That's what we do. You find what works for you, but put it in first. So you'll notice when I offer my courses, when I offer my coaching sessions, when you look at my availability in my calendar, there are large chunks of time that I'm off. Yes, some of them are already pre-booked with clients or other commitments, but often it's because my priorities have blocked out some times and they need me first. Okay, we've thought about our dream. We've thought about what's most important, so there's no more excuses, right? You've got what's most important into your calendar. You've thought about your dream. Now we're going to do the really uncomfortable stuff. I want you to look back. If this is a dream of yours today, it's probably been a dream of yours for a little while. It's probably something that's been on your heart. And I want you to think about the last 6 to 12 months. Look at that last period of time and ask yourself honestly, answer yourself honestly, what didn't work? What didn't work? Okay, so maybe you had a goal of getting in shape. What didn't work? You need to know what didn't work. That way you can pivot. It's the only way. When I work with brand new teachers or other administrators, that's the first thing we do. They'll say, that was a hot mess. I do not know what happened. I had this meeting with these parents and it was a train wreck. Okay, tell me more. What didn't work? And then let's not repeat that. Okay, so what didn't work? We need to pivot from that so that we can learn and move on. What are you getting by living in your failures? What are you getting by living in anger or resentment? Because those things that didn't work, that are making you feel miserable, let's change our perspective. Instead of sitting in them and stewing in them, let's learn from them. Let's pivot and head in a new direction, my friend. Now look back at that 6 to 12 months and think, what did I do right? Man, I never thought I would do this, or I was really hoping to be able to do that. What are those things in the last 6 to 12 months that you did right? Celebrate it. Write it down. Way to go. I am so proud of myself. Practice those words. If you don't tell yourself you're proud of yourself regularly, I want you to write that down. I am so proud of myself. And every single day, first thing you say when you wake up, I am so proud of myself. And you say why. Every single day, start your day with that. Today is a great day. I am so proud of myself for making that tough phone call, for finally emailing that person, for making supper last night when I really didn't want to, for going for a walk when I was so tired. I'm so proud of myself. Today is a great day. Let's habit stack, my friend. Let's get those on. Let's get James Clear's Atomic Habits rolling in our life, right? That's how we're going to set our life on fire. Next. Are you ready? How you doing? How's that journaling? Own your story. I talk about this all the time, don't I? Own your story, write your story. You get to decide. This is a chapter. Each moment in time is a chapter of our lives. I was looking back as my youngest daughter is graduating, and I'm about to be an empty nester with my husband, of myself as a young mom with 2 little ones at home. And I'm like, wow, I hardly remember that mom who was so tired and was just begging somebody, anybody, come watch my baby so that I can sleep for a few hours. I was exhausted. I didn't think I was ever going to move past that. I thought those days were going to last forever, but it was only a chapter. It was only a chapter, and now I have one kid gone to college, another kid off doing her dance classes, and it's pretty quiet. It's pretty quiet here. I'm able to sleep through the night unless my mind is racing full of ideas for you. But own your story. Own the chapter that you're in. Those are our building blocks that get us to where we want to go. And in the moments, in the pages of your chapter where you start to feel like you're off, I'm going to ask you, are you letting somebody else direct you? Are you letting somebody else tell you what your goals are, where you want to go, when you should be doing certain things, what you shouldn't be doing? Do you want to own your own goals and your direction? Or are you just going to follow the journey of somebody else? Stop letting other people prevent you from being all you were meant to be just because they don't understand you. You do not need anyone else's permission to live your life. You can ask for their support, but you don't need their permission. Sit with that. I can ask for my husband's support, but I don't need his permission. I can ask for anybody's support who's important to me, but I don't need their permission. Do you see the difference? Do you see how that power shift happens where all of a sudden it becomes you? Now, I'm going to invite you to have a conversation with anybody whom you feel is holding you back. Because I wonder if they would perceive their communication in the way that you are receiving it. Because so often there is a disconnect in communication. No different than when you end up with those really big emotions that I was talking about in a previous recording. Those big emotions come from boundaries being crossed. They come from our values not being aligned. So have a conversation with that person. What is really holding you back? I told you this was going to get tough. Do you have your pen out? What is really holding you back? If you want to do something and you aren't doing it, I am willing to bet that fear is holding you back to some capacity. Who told you you can't do that? Who? Why do you think that others are thinking negatively about you? Because of your passion. Have they actually said something, or are you thinking they are saying something? There is a difference. Whenever somebody comes into my office and they say, well, everybody thinks this, my first question is, who is everybody? Write them down. You're like, oh, Aunt Marge. Yep, she told me I shouldn't be starting this business back in 1962. She had a friend who started a business, and that business went under. Thank you, Aunt Marge. But I don't want your life advice, so I'm not going to take your criticism. Ask yourself, who is it? And if you can't answer that question, that who is you? And who is you? So you need to start having a conversation with yourself. You need to redirect that. Own your story. And as you own your story, you need to empower your story, empower your dream with gratitude. Walk into a moment of time. Imagine that moment in time. Go back to a space where you are so grateful. You are so grateful for everything that's happened. You're so grateful for what you've accomplished, what you've tried, what you've failed, and you relive that and you think, wow, I own that. That's me. How do you practice gratitude? Is it a checklist? Is it something that you're like, yep, every morning I'm going to write on 3 strips of paper things that I'm grateful for today, and I'm going to drop them into a jar. And then at the end of the year, I'm going to read them. That's one way. Perhaps you have a journal and you're just going to free write for a few minutes every day. That's another way. Maybe you think about things all day long. However you practice gratitude, I'm going to invite you to try another method. Again, let's habit stack this. So I already practiced gratitude. You're like, Crystal, I've heard it. I've done it. I know it's good for you. Practice another one. Practice visualizing, practice reliving that moment, practice writing it down, journaling it out, having a strip, reading all of the things you're grateful for every single month, putting them into a jar. Try something new. Pivot. Give your brain a new idea, a new thing to be excited for. So many things out there, so many things. Consider money, sex, power. This is that sacral energy that helps us feel balanced and confidence. If we don't feel confident when we think about all of those areas that are human need areas, ask yourself, do I need to release feelings of guilt or shame or blame? Because they're really holding me back. I really can't forgive this person who stole this money from me, who took a job out from under me, whatever it may be. What are those blocks holding you back from living a vibrant life? Why are those blocks there? Do you need to forgive somebody? Is it time to move on? Because forgiveness is freedom, my friend. It has nothing to do with any other person or situation. It has everything to do with you and owning your power and moving into abundance. That's what forgiveness is about. We can't change the past. We can learn from it. We can use it as part of our superpower, our story to move on, to help others, to encourage others. Let's not use it anymore to hold us back. No more. No more being held back, my friend. You must know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are enough. You have value to share with others. Own that. Your self-esteem, that's that ceiling. When we go back to like that ceiling or temperature we like a certain situation to be in, that ceiling of confidence, of self-esteem, that's as high as we're ever going to go. If you tell people you're like, oh, I'm about here, I'm not really, oh, I'm not sure, I don't, oh, they're going to treat you here. If you walk into a meeting, if you walk into a room, if you walk into a relationship and you're like, I'm here, I'm game, I am all in. Let's have a conversation. Let's go on an adventure. I am all in. That totally changes the way you can connect with other people. But your self-esteem will guide your feet. If you feel confident enough to apply for a job, to chase your dream, to try something new, your feet will go there. But if you don't have the confidence to try those things, to phone that friend, to ask that person, hey, I started shopping at this really great store. You know, you can go anywhere for athletic clothes, but I really love these ones, and you're willing to share that with somebody, that's a result of confidence. And that is a game changer. That is where success lies. So will you apply for a new position? Will you reach out to a client? Are you going to do something towards your goal? The decision is up to you, my friend. And it's only going to happen if you believe. If you don't believe, there's nothing I can do because it's all on you. But you are worthy and you set the standard. You set the standard for what other people are going to believe. You need to decide that you are of value. And when you do, I promise you, the people around you will believe you. They will believe you. So choose to love yourself and grow your confidence. That's why self-talk is so important. If you go along and you're like, oh man, I made that mistake again. Oh, I can't believe I said that thing. Oh, I'm so down. I'm so forgetful. Oh, I always doing the wrong thing. I'm always saying the wrong thing. It's time to change that. The moment you start thinking or saying something negative to yourself, you need to stop yourself and say, Crystal, I don't talk like that anymore. We don't think that anymore, and move on. Nope, just stop yourself. We do not talk like that about ourselves anymore, and stay in your own lane. Don't get distracted by what other people are saying, what other people are doing, what other people are achieving. Oh man, me and Sally, we got hired at the same time, and she's already went three rungs up the ladder. I'm still sitting back here, sorting papers, answering the telephone. You're on different paths. Perhaps Susie's already done the work. Perhaps she's already grown in her confidence, her speaking skills, her organization. Perhaps she's already done that front work to get there. And you can get there. You can do it. That's the whole power of these masterminds. It's the power of moving beyond these free little courses and moving into a group, into a cycle where you can say, I am going to focus on putting my dream to the test. The 15 invaluable laws of growth, life by design. I'm going to get a one-to-one coach. I'm going to move beyond because I'm going to do the work, because when the next opportunity comes, oh, I'm going to be ready. I'm going to know how to do those things. Don't get distracted by where other people are at in their journey. Comparison is not only the thief of joy, comparison is the thief of success. You don't have to look too far to see that. If you happen to be in the actual course and you've got the participant guide, you're going to scroll over to the Master Your Mind page. On that page, there are four questions that you're going to answer yourself over the next week. Question 1, what is one limiting belief that holds you back and you want to change? What is one limiting belief that holds you back and you want to change? Number 2, how does that belief hold you back? So perhaps it looks something like this. One limiting belief is I can't talk in front of other people. That's a limiting belief. I want to change that. I want to be able to talk in front of people. Okay, that's my limiting belief. How does it hold you back? Well, whenever I go into a job interview, I freeze. Or whenever I have a big presentation to make. Or when a really important customer comes along, oh, I just struggle to get the right words out. So do you see how those are linked? So what is one limiting belief that holds you back and you want to change? And then how does this limiting belief hold you back? Next question, what do you want to do differently? Break this into 3 parts. What do you want to do differently with your actions, so your behavior, what you're physically doing? What do you want to do differently with your thoughts? So how you are approaching some of these problems? And what do you want to do differently with your feelings? How do you want to feel differently? No one is coming to save you, my friend. I am so sorry to say it. After 4.5 decades on this planet, I can assure you, no one is coming to save you. It is up to you to create the life you want. It's not about a paycheck. It is not about a position. It is not about your zip code or postal code. It's up to you to create the life you want. But if you don't believe you are worthy, that's where you need to start. You can't work on a dream without working on you first. You have to come before the dream, or the dream will never happen. So regardless of where you're at in that journey, you're going to get out a brand new piece of paper. And on that piece of paper, now people who've already enrolled in the Life by Design course, you've got this in your participant guide. You are going to start by journaling. I am so proud of myself for, and you're going to be specific. Now, here's a twist. Here's a twist to this journal. I do this one a lot. People who've been around, you know what's coming. This is a year from now. So in the next 12 months, when you go to open this letter 1 year from today, I am so proud of myself for dedicating an hour every single day to work on my goal. I am so proud of myself for finally having that tough conversation and making a decision that maybe should have been made a long time ago. But you're going to get specific with that. You're going to talk about who's in the situation. You're going to talk about what you did in detail. I am so proud of myself for opening my clothing store and being able to offer athletic clothes to women in my area, whatever it is. You need to be specific though. Create your future that is magnetic. Remember when I talked to you about what a dream is? And it needs to like energize you, energize your minds, your thoughts, your actions. It's going to get you moving. Create your future that is magnetic, not general. Oh, I'm so proud of myself. I had a really great year. No, that's not specific enough. What made it a great year? What did you physically do? I finally ran that 10K. I finally went on a road trip for 2 nights by myself, packed up the car, and just started driving. What is that? What does it look like for you? Be specific. Now, look at this letter to yourself when you're finished writing it all the time. Do not go one day without looking at this letter. The more specific you are, the more you can describe it and live it out like a dream, the more likely you are to be drawn to it. So this is your roadmap to guide every decision you make. And after writing this out, I want you to take your vision board, take both of them, look at them. Do they match? Are they aligned? Are you dreaming the same dream? Are you walking on the same path? Or do you have something that's like, oh, that looks like two different people made this? You need to make sure that they're aligned. If they're not, what do you need to adjust? What did you forget about? Or what do you need to add to which one? And you're saying, Crystal, you keep talking about vision boards. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't even have a vision board. My friend, go to my YouTube channel and look up how to create a vision board. The most recent one, take an hour, create it. You absolutely need that. That vision really does help guide you. It helps ground you. It helps excite you. It helps your yes be a heck yeah. And it helps your no's be heck no, doesn't fit. It's not aligned anymore. I am guarding my time. I know what my priorities are, and that's what I'm after. The why behind your vision is the most crucial part. That's the part that I go through in detail. You need to have a vision that's so powerful, it moves you to tears. It brings you to joy. It makes you laugh. It gets you excited. It makes you feel something. If you don't feel something, it's not a part of you, and it needs to be a part of you. My friend, thank you for hopping on. Thank you for dreaming big. Thank you for really just thinking about what do you want out of life? What are your next steps? Where are you going? This is hard stuff. These questions are not for the faint of heart. And you're probably going to need to go back and start and stop these. You only have 48 hours. Okay, 2 days from now, I'm removing this, and it will only be available for people who are enrolled in the Life by Design course. And if you're like, I need to do the next step, I've done the why. Now I need to do module 2. I need to quit tripping. I need to stand strong. I need to identify what my core strengths are, and I need to utilize them to my advantage. I need to live within my passion and my purpose. That's module 2, but it's only for people enrolled in Life by Design. Perhaps you're like, you know what, I have a strong vision, and I feel like that is pretty crystal clear. What I need to do is take my dream and make it a reality. Then you, my friend, are looking for the masterclass, Put Your Dream to the Test. That one is on a waiting list because it doesn't start until mid-February. So Put Your Dream to the Test is one that you are going to contact me about so that you can get onto my waiting list for that one. Okay, again, that one will be by registration, not until February. It's about a month away. Okay, Drop your takeaways. Let me know what resonated the most with you. Let me know. Share with me the parts that just drew you in, that you're like, whew, this just felt like magic. This was what I was needing. Let me know so that I can build off of that. Go make today amazing. Watch this as many times as you want. Your next steps, register for Life by Design, put your dream to the test. Those are really going to take you to the next level. And if you really need those personal growth, that Life by Design, that one's going to help you out. Okay, we'll see you again real soon. Thanks for being here.